But with Roush Performance, you're right. It's a medium to get your stuff out there, and it's a medium to reach millions of people with your big time sponsors.
Yeah, but it's much bigger than the interest of Roush Performance and our Mustangs and our parts and things. Certainly, that we wind up. Racing is a river that ran through. I started drag racing in 1964, and then I started doing work for the car companies. My first customer, my first vendor, I was a vendor first to American Motors before Chrysler bought them out back in the 70s, and then General Motors, and then Ford with a lot of all my motorsport things. The teams that I ran myself that I put Roush Racing or some variant on have always been Fords. And so I enjoy my Ford, so the relationship with Ford means a lot. And NASCAR racing gives me a reason to get up every day. It keeps me awake sometimes at night. Right? I have to go take a sleeping pill to get calmed down. But they say that you have to have something that just pisses you off to tears every day. And I've got that in my life. I don't lack for that.
That's Michael Waltrip.
It could be Michael today, and it'll be somebody else tomorrow.
One last thing before you get out of here is you have a number of drivers on your team, and I understand there's a Tuesday morning team meeting with maybe just the drivers and the crew chiefs, where it's you and these drivers and crew chiefs get to spill their guts on what happened that Sunday. What goes on in these meetings? Is there some bickering back and forth? What's the Jack Roush side of it?
Well, it's what I call my racing hell day. You know, we sit down and we take apart the race that was just behind us. Hopefully, we meet every week. So sometimes when we don't have a race, then we talk about development issues or other concerns that we might have. But if we got a race, we take apart the race for every team. The drivers that come, not all the drivers will come, but the drivers that come can have a chance to speak their piece about how the race weekend went. And we look at the engineering issues. If we broke a part, boy, we agonize over that and try to understand why the part broke and figure out how to fix that. We wind up making assignments, and sometimes we do some additional testing. In addition to looking at things going right and the things going wrong with the individual race programs, we look at the broader picture of how the car builds are going and how the car testing is going, and any strategies we might have for a particular race coming up, and remembering that this is a place where we've got to have the fuel mileage, or this is a place where we can't miss a trick on the brakes, or whatever peculiarity, whatever special endurance consideration that a particular racetrack would have. We go through all that. So in the process, we put hopefully any bad feelings that one team or one group might have to another. If I'll pick at that, if one group has knocked another group off one driver's knocked another driver off the racetrack, or there have been a conflict in the pits or whatever, you know, we'll go through that. We don't have very much of that. There's very little of it. But if we do have a little of that, we'll explore that and make every effort to take whatever happened and put it behind us, and we're focused and we're targeted toward what's in the front for the foreseeable future, and then go off and try to win the next race. I want closure, and the guys need closure on the bad things that have happened. If we need to celebrate and to recognize something that went really well, then we do that as well. But one of the things that happened in the formatting of the meeting is always start with a driver that had the team that finished worst. And then, of course, as you build the crescendo, you're able to generally finish the meeting on a good note, because somebody either won or finished in the top 5. Certainly was in front of the Roush group.
Poor McMurray.
Boy, McMurray he did actually pretty well at Martinsville. He won at Texas last year. He's on his way up. I think McMurray may be okay. If I had some money that it wasn't, I'm not into at-track gambling. I'm into on-track gambling. You know, I put my my money on the horse's nose, you know, and they run around there with it, carrying it, running into one another. But at any rate, if I were going to Vegas and betting on a driver, I bet there's some pretty good, there's some sucker odds on Jamie McMurray, I'd say, because he's going to be all right.
Jack Roush, Crash Gladys, Kenny Sargent, SpeedFreaks Pits. Thanks you, Jack.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Crash. See ya. Oh.